Let's talk about some of our favorite read-alouds from this past school year in today's video, but I have a little bit of a twist, so stick around. This video is actually in collaboration with my friend Katie over at Life in the Mundane, as well as a bunch of other homeschool moms here on YouTube. The link to the playlist will be down in the video description, so be sure you check that out so you can see what everyone's favorite read-alouds were. I have a little bit of a twist though, because typically when we think read-alouds, we think chapter books. And actually, in our homeschool, we read aloud picture books more than we read aloud chapter books. So I'm actually sharing with you our favorites. And then I have one that didn't work out so well that actually is a chapter book that I'm going to share with you. But let's do favorites first, and then we'll get to the not so favorite. These, I count these as read alouds because they're not your true picture book where it's just a story picture book. There's a little bit more to them than that. And so they really work best when you're all sitting together. I say all, there's two of us, but you know, if you've got multiples, you all would be sitting around and taking turns reading things, pointing out things, just kind of really collaborating together. And if you guys remember, we did the 50 states unit study, and in that were these three books that were our top favorites to do together. So the first one I'm going to share with you is Forgotten Founders. This is by Mifflin Lowe. We loved this. I actually would read one of these a day, one of these stories, and then I had my daughter draw a picture of the person or of something that reminded her of the person, and then I would have her write down a small little paragraph, not even a paragraph, like 1 to 2 sentences about something that she would like to remember or something important about that person. And it was just a really fun, interactive way to remember some people that are not usually found in history books, and they are forgotten founders. They are some of the people who helped build this country, make it what it is, that, like I said, don't often make it into the history books. So this was a really, really awesome book. Also, I don't need to mention it, but I will anyway. The books will be linked in the description if you guys want to check any of those out. The next one is The Interactive Constitution. This one is by David and Stephanie Miles. This is so fun. So when they say interactive, they really mean interactive. So you have like these little flaps here that you can pull up. This thing comes out that you can read on either side. This is a really, really fun one to go through, especially with your entire family, right? So even the littles can get involved with this one. Little like balance of power situation there. There are all of your presidents, which they all lift up with quotes from each one. So really fun. Again, this paired so incredibly well with the 50 states unit study. So that was another fun one. And then the last one is the side-by-side Declaration of Independence. This was really great for me, even because it takes what's written in the Declaration of Independence and puts it in just standard English, layman's terms, things that we can understand. And it really, really helps kind of break it down for you. And it even gives you like a little bit of context. There's some cool pictures to go along, all of that kind of stuff. So this was another really great one to just sit down and work through together. Moving on to the one that we didn't like so much. I had really high hopes for these because I feel like I've seen these often. At one point, maybe it was when I was just beginning kind of researching read aloud books for our homeschool, but this one is The Girls Who Changed the World, and it's by Irene Howitt. Now, it's not the worst thing I've ever read, but it's also not the best thing. There are a lot of spelling errors. There's a lot of grammar errors. There are just some things that kind of doesn't make sense. I don't know. And I'm really disappointed because I really wanted to love them and be able to just kind of use them as a supplement, which we might in the future. But obviously, we didn't get too far because I was even just having a hard time reading them. What I do really like is that the stories are short, which is great for us, especially since I am not the most avid read aloud homeschool mom. It quite honestly is not my favorite activity. So I thought this would be a great way to be able to still read aloud, but not bore myself and put myself to sleep. Reading an entire chapter of a book. So that is a plus, and they're all missionaries. It is gospel centered from what I could tell, but it just missed the mark for us. So that is our favorite and our least favorite books from this year. Don't forget to check out the playlist link in the description, and I will talk to y'all soon.